Okay, so very good evening to everyone. Yes, good evening, Yaksh. Good evening, Ravi, Nitika, Roshan, Sarvesh, Vikram. Yes, Protush. Good evening. Yes, and the name is Laser. Okay, good morning. So, good morning, everyone. Let's start our discussion of today's current affairs. So, today we are going to discuss two topics. One is related to your international relation, that is SCO. Recently, a Shanghai Cooperation Organization summit was held right in Uzbekistan in Samarkand. Okay, and recently Prime Minister Narendra Modi attended that summit, and this summit is very significant, not just this year and in the next year when you people will appear in 2023, right? And after that, we will discuss about another interesting topic, that is Scandinavian or Nordic model, because recently elections result came out in Sweden. So we'll discuss all these two, one in the context of IR and another in the context of social issues, the development, the governance part. Just give me a minute. Okay, so why this SU summit is significant? It is for two reasons. So you can see an image in my background where leaders of these SU members, the observer groups, the permanent members, all of them attended, and here is a picture posed by all the heads of the government in Uzbekistan, that is Samarkand. So why this is significant, why all of you should pay attention toward this particular development, because next year India is going to host this summit, SU summit, and right now India has assumed the presidentship of this summit for 1 year. And another important thing, that in few months back, around May, June, this RAT summit, SU RATS, right, regional anti-terrorist, this RATS summit was held, right? So in that summit, the defense ministers, they discuss about the anti-terrorist squads. Okay, so that RATS, regional anti-terrorist structure, that was held in India. Okay, so in New Delhi. So that is the significance, that why we need to focus on SCO. And again, this is the first time when Narendra Modi first time mentioned about the Ukraine-Russia war. This is the first time when India took a stand over the issue of the war, and it asked the Russia that you will not yield anything from this war. So bilateral talk and peaceful means of resolving any conflict is the best way possible. So there are some experts, there are some people who are believing that India has tried to use its earlier policy of NAM, non-aligned movement, in a different way, or you can say that NAM has been introduced in a different way, from the backdoor entry, and India is mentioning the equidistance from the two countries, that Ukraine and Russia. So we will cover different aspects in this context. So this is about the context of covering SCO. Now before going further, right, SCO is a very important organization in the Central Asia region, because it covers, if you look at the geography of the region, it comprises around 22% of the land mass, because you can see the countries like Russia, countries like China, and the countries like Kazakhstan are part of it. I'm just naming the three. So if you have seen the world map, you can imagine the size of these countries. So 22% of the land mass is covered by this SCO. If you look at in terms of population, China, India, Pakistan, they are part of this grouping. So again, around you can say that 41% of the this global population resides in this area. And the interesting thing is that around 22 or 21% of the global trade is comprised by this region, or this region makes the part of 22% of the global trade. Trade means we need not to remember exact the percentage of the data. It is somewhere it is 21, somewhere it is 21.5, but yes, roughly it is 20%. Okay, so this is the significance of the region. And the important thing that we all know, that this geopolitics point of view, that this region is surrounded by Afghanistan, Middle East, right, Iran, and then another important thing is that Iran is going to be the next permanent member. in some places there is a confusion among the people that this Iran has become the member. Iran has yet to attain the full membership as a 9th member. Still the members are 8. So next year by 2023, Iran will become the next permanent member. So do not get confused in this context. Okay. So that is the idea that why you need to focus, because when the time you will appear in 2023, it is quite expected that question will come either in prelims or in mains. So before I go further under discussion, let me ask you a very basic question. Let me see that what idea you have about SCO. So attempt this question. I am giving you 2 minutes to attempt this question. Let me see how many of you have gone through this SCO. So consider the following statements about the SCO. It was formed after the restructuring of the Shanghai 5 group when Turkmenistan joined it in 2001. Second statement, its permanent secretariat is situated in Shanghai. It has 8 permanent members and Iran is the latest to join it. So which of the above statement are correct? So attempt this question. Let me see. And those who will give the answer, I will ask the further question, right? To check whether you have made a guess or what. Yes, tell me. Okay. Protus is saying D is correct. Sarvej is saying B is correct. Okay. Hemant C. Okay. Vrinda D. Neha B. Okay. Fine. Okay. Vaishnavi A, Hemant A, okay. Sarvesh B, Ashu D, Protus D, okay. Amar A, good, okay. Tanuj V, okay. So most of you answered A, then some answered B. So far only I can see. Okay, so earlier Hemant said C, then Hemant changed his answer to A. Its correct answer is 2. So this is the presence of mind. See, now let me tell you why this Kolaveri D. Okay, so its correct answer is 2. Now one by one, it was not the Turkmenistan which joined, right? It was restructured after Uzbekistan joined. So this is not Turkmenistan. Even now also, Turkmenistan is not the member of SCO, right? So this small error happens. So it is the Uzbekistan which joined as the 6th member, right? Then this Shanghai 5, right? Then this Shanghai 5 plus this Uzbekistan becomes SCO in 15th June 2001. This is the thing, right? So that's why first statement is wrong. So ये छोटी चीजें भी पता होनी चाहिए, right? So this is wrong. Next is its permanent secretary is situated in Shanghai. This is correct. Then it has 8 permanent members and Iran is the latest. As I just told you this thing in the beginning also, that Iran has not become the permanent member yet. It has yet to acquire full membership. The process has started. By the next year in 2023, it will become the permanent member. So still this statement is wrong. Still Iran is in the observer state list. Okay, so that's why correct answer is C2 only. Is it fine? So now you can see that this way also stated Beijing, not Shanghai. Okay, and okay, it's a yes. So that is there. Okay, that is there. So this way, it is Uzbekistan which joined it. Okay, it is the Uzbekistan which joined it. So now this is the one question. Now let me show you another thing. This one. So you can see this is the Shanghai Cooperation Organization. So you can see observer state. Iran is still an observer state, and these are the 8 permanent members. India, Pakistan joined in 2017. Uzbekistan in 2001. Then that's why it restructured. Then these are the dialogue partners. You need not to remember these dialogue partners, right? This is just for the reference. Then guest attendees. So here you can see one organization, CIS. Does anyone have idea that what is this CIS? CIS क्या है? Does anyone have idea what is this CIS? You can see there is one organization called CIS. Has anyone read about it before? What is this CIS? What is this CIS? Any idea about this CIS? Because this kind of thing they may ask. And we should know about the new organization, because ASEAN, you know, Turkmenistan, that still is it guest attendance, you can see, and United Nations, you know. What is this CIS? Any idea? Yes, Sachin, good evening. Any idea? Okay, let me tell you. Let me tell you about it. So this CIS here is CIS here stands for Commonwealth of Independent States. Commonwealth of Independent States. So after the fall of USSR, the member nations who were the part of this Soviet Union, means the countries which became republic, right? So we all know that after the fall of USSR, many countries came into existence as a republic, right? Yugoslavia, Belarus and all. So they tried to form a Commonwealth of Independent States, right? So as to maintain their coordination, cooperation and the integrity. So you can further, I am giving you as a homework that all of you should have a basic idea about this Commonwealth of Independent States. This can be asked. Okay? So yes, some of you mentioned it. Commonwealth of Independent States. Yes, Amar has mentioned, Nitika has mentioned. Okay, good. Right. So this is the thing. So as a homework, you should have this kind of awareness about the emerging or new organization which are not so popular in the news, but UPSC has this art of asking the question. UPSC can pick up any kind of this organization and they may ask you. So those who have not idea about this particular organization, you can just go through it briefly, that okay, how it came into existence and who all are the members of this particular grouping, and is it military grouping, is it economic grouping, or is it political economic organization, right? So basic idea you can have. So this is about thing. Now let's coming back to our SEO summit discussion, right? So let us discuss one more question about this, then we will cover other aspects. Here is another question, because this SEO is a very important region, it comprises important questions. So another question which UPSC can ask is like this: which of the following countries border the Aral Sea? Which of the following countries border the Aral Sea? So I hope many of you have read about the Aral Sea before, either in geography or as part of your map practice. If not, then today is the turn to do some map practice. So which countries border the Aral Sea? In the previous years also, UPSC asked one question on the Aral Sea. So I'm telling you that why this region is very important. The logic by asking these questions is to make sensitive, to sensitize you people that what you have to focus geographically, the map wise also, and how IR this thing can be asked. So which of the following countries border the Aral Sea? Okay, so Ravi has mentioned A, good. HDC, सो CC, ओके, एक बार भी सी लिखोगे तो अभी मुझे दिख जाएगा, ओके, यस, वृंदा बी, ओके, एंड अमर बी, ओके, ठीक है, हम्म, नेहा बी, बी, ओके, सो मैनी कंटेंडर्स आर ऑफ बी, काफी लोग बी को बोल रहे हैं, गुड, तनुज बी, वैष्णवी बी, ओके, वेरी गुड, ठीक है, सो सी मोस्ट ऑफ यू हैव आंसर्ड बी. One more thing, this is just one kind of question. Another question can come that since this time is now India has got the presidentship, but when this summit was held, it was the Uzbekistan which was holding the chair. So they can ask anything like that, which of the following countries border Uzbekistan, which of the following countries border Kazakhstan. So this, because this Central Asia, because this SCO, within SCO there are the countries which are part of Central Asia as well, right? Even though Turkmenistan is not there, but yes, if you include Turkmenistan, it became the Central Asian republics. So this Central Asian republic and SCO are a overlapping region. So, and this region is very important for not just India, even for your IR question, prelims question. So again, because of the access to Europe, means this forms the part of Eurasia as well. So Eurasia, your Central Asian Republic, your SCO, you have so many overlapped areas there. So now let's look at the map. So the map will give you the clarity. So you can see this is the map, and you can see that, yes, so most of you answered B, Kazakhstan and Uzbekistan. So this is the correct answer. Yes, this is the correct answer. So you should have this idea that, okay, these are the countries which are part of your SCO. So, but in SCO, Turkmenistan is not there. That is the part. So here you can see this is Central Asian Republic. Here the map which I have shown is, it is about CAR, Central Asian Republic. It is about CAR, Central Asian Republic. So have this idea. And again, they can ask you that which all border Caspian Sea, suppose Uzbekistan. They can ask you the questions on the capital also. Even though this meeting was held in Samarkand, but its capital is Tashkent. So many times this question was asked, arranging the capital cities from east to west or from north to south. So even though you should have this kind of idea, if suppose they ask you to arrange the capitals from south to north in the when you move from south to north, so which capital comes first? So you can see that here it is Ashgabat, Dushanbe. So this is Ashgabat comes first, then Dushanbe, then Tashkent, this way. So you should have this idea. Similarly, if you move from this side, that is from east side to west side, then which capital comes first? Again, you can draw the line. And by the way, what is the new name of this Astana? What is the change name of this Astana in this map? It is the old name. What is the new name? What is the latest name? The name which changed during 2019. What is the name? Astana. Because the name of the capital was changed. बताइए. क्या है capital? In this map, it is the old name, previous name, but what is the new name? What is the new name? कितने लोगों को पता है? So these small things they can ask. So I have given you further hint that what kind of questions UPSC may ask with respect to arranging the capital, with respect to the who sharing border with whom, which means they can pick up the sea, they can pick up the mountains. So you should have this good idea about this region, because it is part of SCO, it is part of your Eurasia, it is part of your this CAR. Again, it is gateway to your Europe, it is part of INSCDC, International North-South Corridor, right? Yes, good. Yes, Nitika. Yes, it is Nur Sultan. Yes, correct. So its new name is Nur Sultan. Nur Sultan. Yes, good. Yes, okay. Now, what is the new things about this development? Means first let's discuss about that what is the special about this summit. We will discuss one by one that how this summit is special. So first is Samarkand Declaration, right? So let's discuss one by one the special things about this summit. So what is the special about this summit, right? So special development or achievements or significance, you can say, right? So developments. So first is Samarkand Declaration. So you can give reference to this Samarkand Declaration. Even a question can be asked that Samarkand Declaration is related to what? Right? They can give you some option, right? That Samarkand Declaration is related to, for example, climate change. It is related to ASEAN Summit. It is related to your SU Summit. So Samarkand is related to your SU Summit, right? So again, in Samarkand Declaration, the member nations made a joint statement where they stressed on the challenges which humanity is going to face in the coming years with respect to climate change, with respect to security, with respect to environment, right? So there are diverse points, right? I will mention all these things in the notes, don't worry about them. So there are quite around many challenges are there. So they mentioned climate change, terrorism, technological disruptions, global reduction in investment flow, instability in supply chain, increased protectionist measures, and other barrier to international trade. So things which are happening at the international level, you've seen that due to Ukraine-Russia war, there was interruption of supply chain, food security crisis. Similarly, there was protectionist mechanism. Countries are introducing tariffs. Again, there was technological disruption, use of technology to hamper the things. So again, they covered all these things, that these are the challenges which humanity is going to face. So in any question, if you find that this Samarkand Declaration is appropriate to fit in the context, अगर कोई भी ऐसा आंसर राइटिंग का कोई भी क्वेश्चन आता है where you can feel that Samarkand Declaration can be mentioned there, that it provides the way forward, you can mention it. Or if any questions come directly on Samarkand Declaration, that which of the following things were stressed by the leaders of SCO during Samarkand Declaration, और आपको 4-5 ऑप्शन दे दी जाए 1 2 3 4 5, you can have this idea, because these all are emerging challenges which we are looking at around us. Okay, so that is one thing. Next is this China Russia Born Homie. Another important development is China Russia Born Homie. So we all know that recently China and Russia came closer, and China is directly supporting Russia during this amid the pressure from the Western nations. China has said that, and how we say that this China-Russia born homie is there, as both the countries said that their relationship is of no limit relationship. They said that our relationship has no limit relationship, no limit relationship. And previously we all know that when countries imposing sanctions, especially Western world, when they cutting their demand of gas from the Europe, when they try to press or pressurize Russia by cutting their energy demand from the Russia, and they, at the same time the China's deal with Russia of $400 billion deal, that is then for the next 30 years China is going to purchase this gas from the Russia. Means it is not the recent deal, it is the past deal, but still that deal has provided the cushion to the Russia to maneuver in the region. So that is one thing, that China is supporting Russia economically. That is one thing. Further he mentioned, because politically if you see, both countries has commonality of communist regime, socialist regime. China draws its inspiration from Russian revolution, right? Communist model, socialist model. So there is another angle. Apart from this, Xi Jinping, the president of China, he said that the SU members should be aware of color revolution. One term he mentioned, that SU members should be aware of. So this is the statement by Xi Jinping. Xi Jinping said, Xi Jinping talked about the color revolution. So now I have a question to all of you, that what is this कलर रेवोल्यूशन? कलर रेवोल्यूशन जो उन्होंने कहा, इसका मतलब क्या है? कैन एनीवन एक्सप्लेन मी व्हाट इज द मीनिंग ऑफ दिस कलर रेवोल्यूशन? टू विच कलर रेवोल्यूशन ही इज इंडिकेटिंग? एनी आइडिया कि किस कलर रेवोल्यूशन की बात कर रहे हैं? अगर आप लोग आईआर को फॉलो कर रहे हो, इफ यू हैव रेड दिस थिंग इन आईआर, व्हाट इज कलर रेवोल्यूशन? एनी आइडिया? So Xi Jinping said that the members of SCO should be aware of Western maneuver of promoting color revolution in our countries. Means the US is trying to promote, trying to enforce this color revolution in the country, right? Any idea? Any idea? Asian era, not exactly Asian era, not exactly Asian era. और सोचो थोड़ा कलर रिवॉल्यूशन कभी पढ़ा है किसी ने इंटर आईआर के कंटेक्स्ट में? एनीवन हैज एनी आइडिया दैट व्हाट इज दिस कलर रिवॉल्यूशन इन द कंटेक्स्ट ऑफ आईआर? वो मत बता देना मुझे दूध वाला और वो वाला ना, वाइट रिवॉल्यूशन, पिंक रिवॉल्यूशन, है ना, वो सब वो वाला नहीं. ये इट इज नॉट अबाउट एग्रीकल्चर, इट इज अबाउट आईआर. कलर रिवॉल्यूशन मीन्स प्रेशर बाय सोसाइटी सच एज ऑरेंज रिवॉल्यूशन. हाँ यस, सर्वेश का पार्शली ठीक है, पार्शली ठीक है. नहीं नहीं, ब्लैक राइस, वही ब्लैक राइस नहीं है, ऑरेंज. किस सेंस में यूज होता है कलर रिवॉल्यूशन? किस सेंस में यूज किया गया है? किस सेंस में? ही सेड दैट वेस्टर्न नेशंस trying to promote or trying to inculcate this color revolution in our country. Yes, Vaishnavi, yes sir, color revolution is basically a massive revolt associated to regime change. Yes, very good, exactly, opposing authoritarian regime. हाँ, so Vaishnavi बिल्कुल correct explanation दिया. See what happened, that the mainly media and the expert use this color revolution as a term for the anti-regime protest. So let me write few lines about it. Color revolution, you can note down side by side. आप इसको यूज भी कर सकते हो अगर ये कल को आ गया प्रीलिम्स में कि कलर रिवॉल्यूशन क्या है, बिकॉज शी जिनपिंग यूज दिस टर्म इन हिज स्टेटमेंट. सो इसका मतलब क्या हुआ, दैट इट इज एंटी रेजिम प्रोटेस्ट, एंटी regime protests. So these are the protests referred by the media, anti-regime protest, especially in early 21st century, especially in the early years of 21st century, and mainly in post USSR or post Soviet countries. For example में आप लिख सकते हो, for example जैसे जॉर्जिया में क्या हुआ था? जॉर्जिया में रोज रिवॉल्यूशन हुआ था. जॉर्जिया रोज रिवॉल्यूशन, जॉर्जिया में रोज रिवॉल्यूशन हुआ था. और यूक्रेन में हुआ था, जस्ट यूक्रेन में भी रिवॉल्यूशन हुआ था. इन यूक्रेन इट वाज ऑरेंज रिवॉल्यूशन. इन यूक्रेन इट वाज ऑरेंज रिवॉल्यूशन. And one more example you can write. In Kyrgyzstan there was tulip revolution. There was tulip revolution. So basically these are the revolution against the authoritarian regime or the regime which which are monopolistic in nature, so as to bring a democratic reform or a democratic government or government which are more pro people. Later on this term was also used for the revolutions or protests emerged in the Middle East countries, Latin American countries. So that is the meaning of this term. Okay, yes, correct. Okay, so this is about it. So Xi Jinping mentioned about this term in his statement. So I covered this thing. So these statements either you can mention or you can highlight, or a direct question can be asked that what is this thing in IR, right? So there is this thing. Another thing is about, apart from this Bonhomie, right? He also mentioned that a small cliché. He used another term, और ये सारे term आपके आंसर में होने चाहिए. That's why I am mentioning these things. He mentioned another thing. He talked about a small cliché. A small cliché. and this small clash, he said that Western nations or some countries are promoting a small clash of nations, a small group of nations, or the outcome of some grouping, and where what he is referring, the groupings like Quad, the grouping like AUKUS, to create disturbance in the third country, or to use these small clash as a medium, as a tool to create turbulence in the region, especially in the third countries, or to target third countries like China, Russia. And by this small clash, he mean to say Quad and AUKUS. So he targeted this thing. So this is the another special thing. So he mentioned this thing, that this small clash has been created by the Western nations, right? The certain nations are creating these small clashes. Even India is also part of one of this Quad. Color revolution, he talked about the China-Russia relationship, about no limit relationship. So this is about that how Xi Jinping has said this thing. Another important thing which happened in this summit, that Russia asked for greater energy collaboration, because Russia is dependent on few countries for its economy to run. So he knows that India is one of the major consumer of energy. So he said that there should be some avenue where Russia can share the energy resources. Another thing is, he said that this is the statement of Putin. He said that there should be a parallel mass event in the field of athletics, like at the sideline of Olympics, as we have Olympic games, so at the same time there should be a SCO event. एक इस तरह कोई इवेंट होना चाहिए जो हम ओलंपिक को टक्कर दे सकें. तो ये किसका स्टेटमेंट था? पुतिन का, कि दैट देयर शुड बी मोर स्पेस टू शेयर एनर्जी, there should be a separate mechanism, or there should be separate forum or organization to promote athletic events across the SCO members. And he did not target Olympics, क्योंकि देखिए क्या हुआ था, आपको पता होगा कि ओलंपिक की जो ये थी फ्रेंचाइजी रशिया से छीनने की थ्रेट दी गई, दैट रशिया विल नॉट होस्ट ओलंपिक्स. और आपको याद होगा कि रशिया पे बैन भी लगा दिया गया था. ऐसे फीफा है, उसने बैन लगाया कि रशियन टीम को नहीं खेलने देंगे, जो फेडरेशन है उसने बैन लगाया. सो रशिया इज फेसिंग द बैन नॉट just in the field of, or sanction in the field of economics or trade. Russia is also facing the threat of ban in the sport area as well. So to overcome this thing, Russia is creating another way to allow its players to participate in the athletic events across different areas. So that is another important problem. Now what is the perspective of India? India के लिए इसमें क्या खास था? One thing, Narendra Modi made the statement that there is no benefit of fighting the war. Nothing significant will be achieved by it. It is a disaster. And Putin in reply said, we can understand your position and soon this war will be over. Another important thing, that I think yesterday Putin again gave a threat of using nuclear arms or arsenals against the Western nations or against Ukraine. So India has a significant role. India can play a significant role by using its policy of no first use policy, no first attack or no first war policy with respect to nuclear, no first use. So India can give this message to the Russia also, that you should adopt this policy of no first use, right? So that we can mention. Apart from this, what other aspect India highlighted? Yes, 3D policy. Yes. What other thing mentioned? और क्या क्या याद है आपको? Narendra Modi asked for greater access to Central Asia. He talked about greater connectivity and freedom of movement in Central Asia, greater access to the region. He stressed on the connectivity part. Connectivity. So you can say that from India perspective, some jo important areas are there, that is connectivity. He talked about, so let's discuss India's stand. So India's perspective. India's perspective. So here India discussed connectivity, that there should be greater accessibility of the region. Connectivity. He talked about food security. food security, right? One thing, if you remember, all of you remember, in the malnutrition discussion, I talked about International Year of Millets. कितने लोगों को याद है ये वाला पॉइंट जो मैंने इंटरनेशनल ईयर ऑफ मिलेट्स बोला था? इंडियाज डिमांड, इंडियाज रिक्वेस्ट टू सेलिब्रेट द नेक्स्ट ईयर एज इंटरनेशनल ईयर of millets was accepted by the United Nations. The same point India made at this summit also. India is promoting this, India is using this platform of Shanghai Cooperation Organization to further boost the demand of millets, because India is one of the producer of the millets, and we have huge areas like states like Rajasthan, Gujarat, Andhra Pradesh, they produce a good amount of millets. I hope you people remember. So to overcome this food shortage, to fulfill the demand of food security, India is stressing on millet as an important source of nutrition. Yes? Yes, Proti is saying yes, sir, yes, sir. So that same demand made by the Narendra Modi in this food security demand, because there was disruption of supply of the food, especially because we know that Ukraine and Russia, especially Ukraine, because of the steppe region, is one of the supplier of food grains of the world. So this export of the food grain was hampered from the border, from the this ports of Ukraine, Russia due to war. So India said that millet could come to the rescue, and there should be the maintenance of the supply chain. So that is the one aspect highlighted by the Narendra Modi. He talked about this, that India is trying to popularize millets, right? So that is a good point. India is this is stressing on the celebration of millet as international year. Okay, that is one thing. Then another thing, apart from connectivity, India talked on promotion of traditional industries. Promotion of traditional industries. Promotion of traditional industries. So India highlighted that there is a need to create a working group to promote traditional industries among the SCO members. So now I have a question to all of you. Just let me know that WHO has established one and only center across the world in India on traditional medicines. So in which state that center is established by WHO? That is the only center around the world. That is the only center around the world, and this kind of knowledge about traditional knowledge, traditional medicine, you can use this kind of example in other answers also, in terms of that how India is doing or how India is playing as a role of the international player. So in terms of traditional medicine, one center has been established in India, and that is the only center around the world. So how many of you know about that center? In which state that center is established? Any idea? And after this traditional industries, another thing which India highlighted is tourism. Tourism. Yes, very good. Yes, Ravi, Gujarat, good. Rashmi saying Uttarakhand, North Uttarakhand. Tanuj is saying Gujarat. Yes, Gujarat is the correct answer. Good, nice. Gujarat is the correct answer. Good. So it is Gujarat. So WHO established center in Gujarat. So these examples you should have in your mind. Any questions can come. अगर आपको पिछले साल का क्वेश्चन याद होगा, यूपीएससी का मेंस का ट्राइबल नॉलेज को पूछा था, हाउ ट्राइबल्स नॉलेज, traditional knowledge is preserved. So tribals have very good knowledge of traditional medicines. You can always mention this kind of example, that they should get an international platform to promote their knowledge. At the same time, their rights should be recognized, right? Now next is tourism. So Varanasi is recognized as the SCO cultural capital. Varanasi. So in this, Varanasi is recognized as the, Varanasi is promoted as the, Varanasi is promoted as the cultural capital of SCO. Cultural capital, tourism and cultural capital. Cultural capital of SCO. So these are certain important developments of this year, this summit. And as I told you that next year India is going to host this summit. So this is very important from prelims perspective as well as mains perspective. This is about the Indian's perspective, right? In food security, millets. India push the millets, popularize the millets, right? In connectivity, greater access to the Central Asia, greater access, freedom of movement, right? Greater access to Central Asia or the region. So these are certain things. If you are able to remember this much also, you can frame the answer, right? So this is about this year. Now next thing is, this is in general, we talked about it, how this Samarkand summit held, what is the important outcomes, what is their thing. Now what we can further read about this SCO, that what are the opportunities available for India in SCO. What are the opportunities available in India for SCO, right? So what opportunities you see, that what opportunities are available to the India? What opportunities are available to the India? One by one we will discuss them. Before discussing the opportunity, let me tell you few basic things as well about this SCO only. So few things. So official language of SCO. Official languages or official language of the SCO. It is Chinese and Russian. That is one thing. It is Chinese and Russian. Okay, official language. This SCO work on the secure strategy. One more thing you can mention, you can note down that this SCO works on the secure strategy, and I will explain that what is the secure. So SCO works on secure strategy. Secure strategy. Now what is the expansion of this secure? So here I will write right. So this is security of citizens. Security of citizens. This is related to economy. So this is economic development for all. Economic development for all. Right. C is for connecting the region. Connecting the region. U is for uniting our people. Uniting our people. Then R is for respect for sovereignty. Respect for sovereignty. Respect for sovereignty and territorial integrity. And territorial integrity. And E for environmental protection. And E for environmental protection. So here N is missing, so environmental protection. E is for environmental protection. Okay, so this secure summarizes the basic goals and objective of the SU. So what this summarizes, basically goals and objectives. Because if you read goals and objective of SU separately, so goals are mutual, to promote mutual trust, to promote friendly relation among the neighbors, to promote regional peace, security, respect of integrity. So all these things are there: respect for sovereignty and territorial integrity, security of citizen, economic development for all, uniting our people, environment protection, right? So these are nothing but goals and ideals of SCO. Okay, this is about the goals and all these things. So now, yes, now coming back to the question which I asked you. Okay, note it down in the side by side. So yeah, I have asked a question that what is the significance of this SEO. So now you all of us started access to Central Asia for Indian market. Very good, Ravi. Gateway to Europe, nice. Sir, India has started to focus on Central Asia, so it could be a leverage to India in terms of economy, energy, along with the cultural. Yes, very good. Civilization ties, as we told, as far as Central Asia is concerned. Yes, very good. So yes, we can cover many dimensions. It is an access to the Europe, so connectivity. It will open another way to access the Europe, because Chabahar port is not accessible because sanction of US. So India can seek another way to reach Europe. That is fine. It meets the energy demand of the India. That is another thing. This region is crucial for meeting India's energy demand. And in energy demand, you can mention example like the unfinished task of accessing energy from the Europe through the project like TAPI, IPI. These projects can be completed in shorter span of time with mutual cooperation. जो आपके तापी और आईपीआई जो प्रोजेक्ट्स हैं जो अभी अबेंडन हो चुके हैं या जो अभी प्रोग्रेस नहीं कर पा रहे हैं, द प्रोलॉन्ग डिले दे आर विटनेसिंग, it can be cut short with the effective cooperation. Similarly, India has interest in Afghanistan region. So the stable SCO, the stable Central Asia, ensure that Taliban regime can be checked under control. Right? So Taliban can be, because they are the neighbors of Afghanistan, and SCO is playing an important role in ensuring this smooth transition of Afghanistan to the peace, or to the marching to the roads of peace. So again, the neighbors can play a role, and India can bang on these neighbors to ensure that Taliban will not do anything which is counter to the India's interest. That is another thing. Yes, good. What else? When I saying boost ties with Asian countries, yes, very good. It acts as a bridge between the Asian countries. Yes, very good. And what else? What else we see? So suppose this is India. This is India. This is SCO. So through SCO, India, as all of you said, India can meet energy demand because the region is filled with energy rich countries. So energy security. Here we can give examples also. Then through SCO, access to the Eurasia, access, or as some of you said, gateway to Europe. So access to Eurasia, Europe. Very good. It is SCO leads to the Afghanistan, stable Afghanistan, rather I should say, stable Afghanistan, stable Afghanistan, and Taliban can be checked under control. This is what else we can mention. और क्या पॉइंट है बताइए, और क्या कर सकता है SCO? अभी बहुत सारे पॉइंट हैं, बहुत सारे पॉइंट्स हैं जो हम अभी डिस्कस कर सकते हैं. अभी आप और पॉइंट सोचिए, सोचो, थिंक थिंक थिंक. और क्या पॉइंट हो सकते हैं, और बताइए. एक इंडिया का है एक्सटेंडेड नेबरहुड. So India's foreign policy of extended neighborhood can be made. Extended neighborhood policy. India's extended neighborhood policy can be met if this SU can work in favor of India. Extended neighborhood policy. और इसके अलावा ट्रेड एंड कनेक्टिविटी विल बी सिक्योर एंड पॉसिबल. यस, ट्रेड का हो गया. टूरिज्म, यस, एक डायमेंशन हो गया टूरिज्म. यस, सो टूरिज्म हम यहाँ पे कर सकते हैं. यस, टूरिज्म इज देयर. Another important thing is that India can use, yes, टेररिज्म वाला आ गया, बिल्कुल सही है. दैट्स व्हाई आई एम थिंकिंग कि अभी तक किसी ने टेररिज्म के बारे में क्यों नहीं बोला. सिक्योरिटी एंड पीस, राइट. सो विल कम रेट्स के बारे में बात करेंगे अभी, रेट्स के बारे में. रीजनल एंटी टेररिस्ट स्ट्रक्चर, आई मेंशन दिस इन द बिगिनिंग ऑल्सो. यस. और क्या है, टू काउंटर चाइना, टू काउंटर चाइनाज इन्फ्लुएंस इन द रीजन, राइट. सो you can counter China in the region because India is interested in Central Asia, so you can counter China. अगर चाइना कोई डेवलपमेंट प्रोजेक्ट कर रहा है, इंडिया कैन ऑल्सो लीड द डेवलपमेंट प्रोजेक्ट. So through SCO it can balance its ties, so it can counter China, right, as a grouping. It can use as a platform, so counter China in the region. Or yes, it is about security. So terrorism, extremism, separatism, और ये इनके ऑब्जेक्टिव में भी मेंशन है. टू फाइट अगेंस्ट टेररिज्म, एक्सट्रीमिज्म एंड सेपरेटिज्म, दिस इज ऑल्सो मेंशन्ड इन द गोल्स ऑफ द एससीओ. जो एससीओ का ऑब्जेक्टिव है उसमें वन ऑफ द गोल इज दिस. एंड फॉर दिस दे एस्टेब्लिश रेट्स. For this they established SCO rates. I hope आप लोगों ने नाम सुना होगा SCO rates का. SCO rates, regional anti-terrorist structure. So India can use this rates, and I mentioned this thing to you that this year summit was SCO rates summit was held in New Delhi. So this, how this rate can be used, by the way, how we can use this rates, how this regional anti-terrorist structure can be used by India. Yes. बैलेंस बिटवीन ईस्ट एंड वेस्ट टू, हाँ ये भी हो सकता है बिल्कुल. और क्या, बैलेंस बिटवीन ईस्ट एंड वेस्ट, बिल्कुल बिल्कुल हो सकता है. यस हेमंत. हाँ, नाउ माय क्वेश्चन इज हाउ दिस रेट्स कैन बी यूजफुल टू द इंडिया, हाउ इट कैन बी यूजफुल. सी, this regional anti-terrorist structure can be used in intelligence sharing to share new technologies. Since China has technology, so intelligence gathering, blacklisting of terrorists can be done. For example, India wanted to blacklist Masood Azhar, which China used to block in United Nations Security Council list, right? So India can use this platform to single out China, that why at one place you are saying that we have to fight, we have to combat terrorism. But when we are saying that this is a terrorist organization, or this person particularly like Masood Azhar, right, he is creating, disturbance in the region, or he is promoting anti-Indian activities, then why you are not highlighting or blacklisting this person? So this blacklisting of the terrorist organization, again to put the names in the list, to share the intelligence, to gathering the intelligence. For example, the Central Asian regions are more closer to the Taliban and Al-Qaeda networks, so they can share intelligence with Indian forces that okay, what kind of activities they are planning in the region against India's interest, right? So those things can be done. Technology transfer can be done, so mutual cooperation can be done. So this rates, SU rates, should be utilized by India to counter terrorism. Okay, that is the thing. Yes. Try to leverage SU to ensure multipolar world order and so balance. Yes, absolutely yes. And that is the very premise, that is the very purpose of establishing SCO. If you see that Shanghai 5 was established, and the question which I asked you, so Shanghai 5 was established in 1996 to counter Western influence only, right? And the thing is that there was, when USSR collapsed, there was border demarcation issue between China and 4 former USSR countries, Russia and this Kazakhstan, Kyrgyzstan, right? So they have the issues with the China. So they formed this grouping of Shanghai 5. And once this Shanghai 5 grouping was formed, so later on they saw that Western nations are considering this grouping of Shanghai 5 as anti-NATO, or they are this country as countering to NATO. So that is there. Yes, that is there. Then fighting terrorism with the help of Pakistan and China. Yes, right. So this Pakistan, China can be taken into consideration. What else? What else? It can also tackle the activities like anti-trafficking, arms proliferation. These can also be taken. it can also constructively use China and Pakistan. So constructively use China and Pakistan. Constructively engage China and Pakistan. Yes, this can be done. Constructively engage China and Pakistan through this platform. Okay. What else? What else? और क्या हो सकता है? Somebody has mentioned the market also. So it provides the market. Market भी बताता है. Market किस किस के लिए? Market. It provides the market for Indian IT companies, Indian pharma companies, Indian banks, banking sector, and financial companies. Recently, Narendra Modi also mentioned this thing in his statement also, that India has more than 100 unicorn. India is one of the growing ecosystem of having multiple startups. We are one of the leading technological hub, right? And who are leading this technology hub? Mainly financial and banking companies. You see the financial apps, many apps are there, so they can provide the solutions, easy solutions. Pharmaceuticals, again, in the COVID times also we supplied so many essential medicines to the different parts of the world. So India has a strong potential, right, to become a global hub of medicine. And again, ITs are a strong area. So that provides the market access to these strength areas of India. So it can further promote balance of trade in India's favor, right? What else? What else? Another important thing is, even though the charter of SCO do not allows for the bilateral summit, but in the sideline there is a bilateral talk between the leaders. So I am giving you few example. You can mention certain example that how SCO can further help India in diffusing tension. For example, after Mumbai attack, there was a summit held, this SCO summit. So this PM Manmohan Singh and that point of time PM of Pakistan, they met on the sideline of the SCO to diffuse the tension. Similarly, when there was LAC standoff between India and China, so Russia, and in 2020, Russia was hosting the summit, so it encouraged India and China to diffuse tension after the LAC standoff. So sometimes what happens, these platforms helps the countries, nations to come face to face. Even this year also, earlier in the past, India had tension with respect with Turkey. So Narendra Modi met this Erdogan, right? So many times these, and similarly, Narendra Modi used SCO as a platform to have a direct talk with Putin to diffuse this Russia-Ukraine war crisis, right? So again, that is another aspect of using this SCO from India's perspective, right? Now, what are the challenges? You see, तो जो अपॉर्चुनिटीज हैं वही चैलेंजेस भी हैं. जो अपॉर्चुनिटीज हैं वही चैलेंजेस भी हैं. सो यू कैन सी, चाइना अपने आप में चैलेंज है, कनेक्टिविटी अपने आप में एक इशू है, पाकिस्तान अपने आप में एक चैलेंज है, राइट? स्टेबल अफगानिस्तान अपने आप में एक चैलेंज है. सो दीज अपॉर्चुनिटीज आर सेल्फ चैलेंजेस. सो व्हाट आर द चैलेंजेस? What are the challenges? What are the challenges? Yes, medical tourism. Yes, good. What are the challenges? सबसे बड़ा चैलेंज है हाउ टू बैलेंस. इंडिया इज कॉट इन बिटवीन. पहला चैलेंज है इंडिया कॉट इन बिटवीन. India caught in between. So this is India. This is West. This is Russia plus China. And even now Pakistan has joined it. So here India is more inclining towards the west, right? So recent deal between India US, so India is more inclining towards this thing. Then quad, okay. Then nuclear deal, arms deal, various arms, so arms deal, trade agreement. So this quad, India US inclination, other things creating trouble in the region, means China and Russia are suspicious of these growing closeness between India and West. That is the first challenge. At the same time, when India comes closer to them, that is as part of SCO, so they do not see India as a full-fledged member, means in terms of the contribution, commitment, because India is swinging here and there. It is like pendulum. So that is a challenge. So how? Because China see Quad as anti-China. Okay, the exercise, Malabar exercise. So Malabar exercise again anti-China they are saying. So they have hidden tensions, intrinsic tensions, right? Historical tensions with respect to border. Similarly, another reason is the growing ties of Russia and Pakistan. So another angle is Pakistan. So Pakistan is moving closer with respect to the defense ties with Russia. So again, this is a concern for India. So that is one challenge. Next, so this is first challenge. Next, second is India's uneven relationship. With China and Pakistan. So it creates as a hurdle to discuss anything meaningful. जब तक issues रहेंगे, if you see that this year also Narendra Modi has not gone into bilateral conversation with Xi Jinping. टर्की के साथ हुई, उज्बेकिस्तान के साथ हुई, रशिया के साथ हुई, बट शी जिनपिंग चाइना के साथ कोई बायलेटरल मीटिंग नहीं हुई, जबकि शी जिनपिंग और पुतिन की हुई और लोगों की हुई. सो इट शोज दैट स्टिल दे हैव डिफरेंसेस. सो हाउ दे विल कम टुगेदर. एक और सरप्राइजिंग चीज है इसमें, एक और सरप्राइजिंग एलिमेंट जो आप लोगों को भी देखेगा कि एट वन साइड इंडिया क्रिटिसाइज पाकिस्तान फॉर प्रमोटिंग टेररिज्म, राइट, बट इन द एससीओ मिलिट्री एक्सरसाइज, India and Pakistan fighting together, or they are conducting joint exercise. So in SCO military exercise, Indian forces are fighting together with Pakistani forces. So this is contradictory to the India's stand. So this is contradictory to the India's stand. Okay. What else? India's position on border road initiative, another challenge. So India's position on border BRE initiative, border road initiative, right? So except India, everyone has endorsed this project of China. So when you are in the denial mode, when you are not accepting this or endorsing this BRI, how China will trade your way? How China will access your demands or acknowledge your concern? So that is again a bottleneck. So you can see that there are hidden challenges, right? What else is there? What else is there? Then again, the same common issue which India have with everyone, delay in fulfilling commitments. Delay in fulfilling the commitments. So these are the common challenges which we can see. These are the common challenges. Any other challenge? China Belt and Road Initiative. Yes, I have mentioned rivalry of India, Pakistan. Yes, it is there. Yes, Nitika, Yaksh. New version of non-alignment. Yes, it mentioned in the beginning. New version. So that is the how relationship is evolving. new version of non-alignment that can be mentioned, that how you see the India's distance towards the Russia and Ukraine, that I discussed in the beginning. Okay, so other challenges can also be mentioned. Now what is the way forward then? What is the way forward then? That India should use this platform constructively by keeping aside the conflicting issues, conflicting areas, right? And focusing on those areas which are of pressing need or which are of pressing concern for India. For example, terrorism, for example, border issues. So India should, as I mentioned there also, India should constructively engage with this China especially. Even if you can silence Pakistan in SAARC, you can boycott China in other bilateral trades, in other aspect, you can corner the Pakistan, but you cannot corner China. China is one of the leading player of the world. You have to recognize this thing. So you have to engage China constructively. If you boycott BRI, it doesn't matter to China, because there are n number of countries who are going by China way, because it is one of the emerging, one of the fast growing economy, and everyone is in the need of money. Even India is dependent, India is relying on the Chinese goods. So for the namesake, you can say that we are, we are mentioning a distant position of China, but actually you are relying on China. Either you accept or reject it, but this is the truth. So better is you should engage with China. At the same time, in SCO, the democratic countries like Kazakhstan, like Kyrgyzstan, those which are means pro-India, which have avenues for India, India should fulfill its commitment on time. India should give them space, right? India should engage a more comprehensive engagement, more closer ties. The way India is engaging with France, the way India is giving more emphasis to the South Korea, right, in terms of trade, in terms of technology transfer. Same way India should play a leading role in the region. Otherwise, China will corner the India. It is cornering the India. So that space should be captured by India soon. So these positive points we can mention. We can mention some contribution like Almaty Dam project and all. We can mention them. So this is about SCO. So as I told you that SCO is very significant for the next year. The questions can be asked directly, right? So this is about SCO. Now let's discuss about the next topic, that is Scandinavian model. So briefly I will tell you few things about this Scandinavian model. It was in news. Scandinavian model. Sometimes it is also known as Nordic model, based on the Nordic countries. So again, you should have this idea that geographically which all countries are part of Scandinavian peninsula, Scandinavian region, right? Denmark, Sweden, Norway. And culturally it further widens. It includes Finland, Iceland, Greenland, right? Faroe Islands, all these things. So the thing is that how this Scandinavian model, if you have seen the various global index, most of the times what you have seen that mainly Denmark, Sweden, Norway, Finland, these are the countries which remains in top 5, especially the social indicator related index. For example, global happiness index, global peace index, global freedom of press index. So how these Scandinavian models are so better? What is the special about them? What you think? What is the special about this model? Any idea that how this Scandinavian model is special as compared to other countries' model? Why these countries are more better off and more developed as compared to other nations, even in developed nations as well? Why they are in the top 5? Any idea? Any idea? See, this Scandinavian model is considered as a model of good governance. Even in our Indian schemes, policies, many times they are considered as a role model for the governance part. So these countries are called as socialist democracy, right? Social democracies. They are considered as social democracies. Social democracies. where they put more emphasis on public choice, collective bargaining, then mutual benefits of workers and employers, then greater access to public goods, so better service delivery, better public service delivery, not just service delivery, better public service delivery. So if you see in most of the Scandinavian countries, like if you see the Denmark, means in most of them education is free. In certain countries health is free, right? So they stress more on that it should be the government who should pay on behalf of his citizen. They adopt a progressive taxation. They make sure that in a society it is the duty of the government is for the betterment of the people. This model is different. If you see the model, if you see this Scandinavian model, it acts as a balance. It tries to act as a balance. This Scandinavian model or Nordic model, it strikes a balance between the Western model, right, which is purely based on capitalism, mainly based on capitalism, if not at all purely, and another is your communist model or socialist model, right? So that is, you can say, Eastern model or Soviet model, that is communist model or purely socialist. So this is more characterized by the self-interest. This Western model is characterized by capitalism, self-interest, profit-oriented. Capitalism, self-interest, and profit-oriented. This is one party rule, mainly one party system, control over the means by the government, less scope for the private ownership or less space for the entrepreneurship, less space for private participation or less scope, right? Private participation. So this model tries to create a balance. Where it provides space to the private players, it provides space to the entrepreneurs. It adopts the capitalist principles, but in the interest of the people. It is the interest of, means you earn, we will tax you, we will collect the money. And one of the beauty of this Scandinavian model, that they welcome the immigrants, they welcome the people, whether irrespective of the nations. But now why this Scandinavian model came into picture? Because as I told you that recently elections concluded in Sweden, right? In Sweden. So the ultra nationalist party came to the power, means they secure more seats. So now there is a fear, and during the election campaign they said that we will take anti-immigrant stand. We will make sure that immigrants will not enter into the country, or it becomes very hard for them, tough to them to enter into the country. So in the past, when there was issue of refugee crisis in the countries like Iraq, Syria, so these Scandinavian countries were the one who welcomed these refugees on the humanitarian ground. They said that we are for the people. We believe in socialism, socialist democracy, so we open our gates for these refugees in the interest of the mankind. But after some time, what is seen, that these right-wing party, they said that this student democrats, that these immigrants are creating disturbance in the society. They are threat to the employment. So now this Scandinavian model is under threat. So basically this model is under threat, which is for the welfare of the people. So this model is under threat. So as a student of GS, we should have a basic idea of what is this Scandinavian model, right? So I hope that you get an idea about this model, how this model tries to act as a balance between Western model and the Eastern model, that is communist influenced model, socialist model, right? And it believed in this kind of things. Collective bargaining, there are respectable wages, right? So the things which our DPSP mentions, the directive principle of state policy under part 4 of our constitution, those things are applicable. Those things are under implementation in reality in these countries, right? So this is about the Scandinavian model, right? So I am stopping here. I hope that many things you learned in today's lecture, especially SEO, and a brief idea about this Scandinavian model, because you can give this reference of the Scandinavian model in any answer, in good governance, in part of the social policy, public sphere, that what kind of government policy should be there. So there should be a balance between the public interest and the private interest. If you mention this keyword, that Scandinavian model should be adopted, or Nordic approach should be adopted by India as well. And the same thing was mentioned by the one of the editorial in The Hindu also. So this is the ideas which we have to take from these things, right? So thank you everyone. We'll meet in the next lecture. Good night. Good night. Take care.